we are going to get going here on some more derust and shooting for PvPs. A few moments. Let's see. Cool. Alright. We're good to go. Without further ado, jump right in. Going for some resets tonight. Get a time improvement. Right. Did forget to check all of my mic settings and everything were appropriate spot. Check on that when we get. Now we're going. Just see that. Saving as much time. That's not what we want. Okay. I sat here and said no reset, and immediately go into a reset. We're also going to, apologies, move the webcam. Yeah, I'm not super thrilled with it being up there. Just kind of switching which under. High volume a bit and do that. Double check. Yeah, mic's on. Kind of interesting that it downscales my resolution when it does that as well. Cool. Okay, take two. Sorry about the minor tweaks. Good to do scene skips right out the gate. We run forward on the platform and get a weapon choices for up. This determines our ability pathing as well as base stats. Here we don't end up accessory slot and sacrifice a defense. Large amounts of our magic throughout the run. Ability pathing. Run forward during the blackout. I'm a release of the run forward properly. You can actually get yourself into the corner that we want to be in. This is a very sloppy Shadows 1. Okay. Spending a lot of our time practicing the second half of the run. That's where we have a lot more time saved. But not doing a whole run means that we're going to be a little bit sloppier. Ugh. So, this initial cutscene we can skip as soon as the timer starts again, or twinkling completely fades. Views that we get, there are a very small amount of frames between the first scene skip and the second one, where you can pause maybe. Very fair window to each other. I'd say at most 10 frames. Less than that. That scene is before his foot starts moving. Do back-to-back skips as you come to the platform. And pretty much every time Xboxes go away, you have a bit of action or a scene skip to do. This one, or his eyes start going to the right, hit, and as soon as the Xbox goes over, hit. Once the chest disappears, we back and jump, trying to get backwards, moving towards the box. We mash triangle past the dialogue box there. We want to finish an air combo, that way we can backward jump out of that as well, but we didn't. Ground combo. Hit this. Come on. As soon as we interact with the door. Now we talk to all three of the kids. To get our dawn ripped. For a number of these cutscene skips, there are very well understood spacings and timings that we can actually use to get the skips. The load remover is one aspect that we can take advantage. It'll start counting down in time as soon as thus being at a point where we can do our next progression, scene skip, just like this one. Other ones have precise timings. Other ones, there are starts and stops to the timer. A lot of them are immediately on transition. Some of them have some light frame delays, are reliant on fade-ins, camera pivots. Like this one, fade-in basically. You release the forward movement a little bit earlier, you can actually position yourself such that you'll get into this positioning earlier. That's the cleanest you can really get the kills on that combos. Ideal. Not necessarily the fastest, because again, combos are slow and we still have plenty of workable time there. I'm mashing my combos too much right now, fast, thus dropping inputs and having slower timing, which is why I'm not getting the full air combo off of that single jump, because basically I'm dropping which means I don't get the opportunity on that floor. And we try to get as close to this corner of the dress as we can, so as to touch the save point. And from here, we head up to the platform to fight Darkside 1. Ideal timing of this split ends about 5 seconds. But that uses not all defense ups and has cleaner fights in the run-up. As I was just saying, the defense ups that we are optional. They're advised for newer or less optimized players like myself. Right now I'm trying to calm myself down and get my combos in order. They make for slightly increased guarantees around don't die in certain fights, which I need at the moment. But really it boils down to comfortable with health margins, threshold, engagements, and making sure that you are kind of doing things optimally. World record is not built on safety strats, built on fast strats. The defense up use is safety strats. But for someone that's less experienced, less confident, executing things as well as they're supposed to be, the difference at roughly 8 seconds of time makes up versus the potential time loss of any individual death a lot. They lose 8 seconds on a lot sillier, less consequential things than defense ups throughout the run. So, not something I'm particularly concerned. And onward to SM2. Hold left directly as we in cutscene, supposed to run off the docks, and then immediately lock on the fish, start our reflection. Lock onto the fish because it allows us to actually walk more directly in, thus of chasing and swimming. We come back to this place, select first of our mushroom, trigger a cutscene. Then head on for the last item on the side, the seagull egg, or going second half of the act. second half of the island is only naturally accessible on day 2. And we hit the coconut tree on the way in the event that it decides to drop a yellow coconut. 2 of those, and that is an opportunity to potentially get one for it. Come talk to the dude for a race for gaming the ship and cutscenes. As well as grabbing a pretty stone out of the reward for winning the race, which we'll do later. For some of our shopping, make sure that we have enough money to purchasing gummy parts. Now there's 2 approaches to the race. You can do the path that I'm doing right now, which is the time efficient, and is a guaranteed win. It's relatively straightforward to do, but can be tricky to get used to if you're not already used to. And then there's going around outside. There are ways to guarantee yourself a win, even if you are not super skilled on execution. There is a fade out that happens there at the way you actually spend as much time as you can on the race. That you fade out can start basically the second that you jump up that final ledge. Jeez, that was terrible coconut. Like, remarkably bad. But yeah, it can start as soon as you jump up onto the ledge where Kyrie's waiting at. And you saved as much time as you can, as long as it does not start up there. Anything between part of the run back to where he stands and waits to a little bit after jumping up is a time save. Now those coconuts were big oof. That marks 2 done. Collecting the fresh water and 3rd in. Go through a series of 7 cutscenes here, and then head to fight Darkside 2. The last of which can skip as and camera pan upward parts. And then we head to see. That was a bad scene to skip out of me. As soon as the loading part appeared, then it goes to that twinkle. Yep. But I lost a second. Early in flash options. Button press. You cannot move the camera here, hid by the lovely sound effects. Unlike when you're going in the first time. Mushroom. Alright, not bad on the comboing. Still lost a lot of time. Okay. Gonna keep this one going. Like I said, we have tons of. We run straight to the first district, don't technically need to check into the accessory shop until after we've cleared 5 shadows. That 5 shadow mark, what actually that's seen interaction with Leon, start his fight. Press the start. 4. 5. Now we have our little chat with Sid. We're heading back outside to fight Leon. Every fight has a kind of set amount to it. And on beginner, a lot of times we can actually just do empty hits instead of finishers because of how much strength we have relative to damage. Criticals out of finishers. And sometimes we actually abuse this fact, action with knockbacks, get more damage out before having. Okay. Now we are off to fight guard armor. Kill 3 soldiers, 1 here in the room, to get to an 8 threshold. So that we get our level up on clearing the cryptid group of soldiers in the room before entering the guard armor fight itself, giving us 1 extra strength to fight a little bit faster. Oh, that was a little slow. Okay. Alright. Less than ideal, but that's what it is. Still not a bad fight overall. Just the run I'm going has had a better fight. And pretty much everything we're missing. Just this. No major concerns there. For having beaten Leon, we get an extra elixir out of the group here. And then do Jimmy teach us about abilities, magic, and the gummy, the journal. Learn about the gummy ship and shortly after. But for now, we are headed for our first menu of. There, we took the ether off of. We equipped Brave Warrior, place a ribbon, and we equipped the dodge roll ability. Aura. Here we skip over the tutorial, straight into the garage, grip our ship. That's re-equip. Done. Save our blueprint. Head back out. Get through a little bit more tutorial conversation. And then AFK in the upper corner. We strip the gummy ship down because in stage 1, gummy speed is impacted by gummy weight, and armor pieces affect our weight. This is the one gummy that we actually get to AFK for. Right corner. That's the last piece of damage we end up taking on the mission itself. Otherwise, we avoid hitting things by kind of clipping in the upper right corner past some terrain as we get closer to Wonderland itself. The slop on those menus means we're not getting ideal timing out of the split, but we still stand a pretty decent chance of saving time. Once we get into Wonderland, we will have cutscene skip, followed by a bit of movement, followed by another cutscene skip, more movement, and then we'll be in the Queen's Court, and we'll engage in some dialogue, go collect an item, and then come back to Frank Tower fight, our next fight. A couple of cutscenes, a little bit of dialogue, and a little bit of movement. Wonderland is pretty straightforward on that front, so no big concern here. This is an unskippable portion of cutscene, after which we dodge roll forward and take one step, trigger the next cutscene. Push in this bed, clear the doorway, drink the potion, take a step and then dodge roll off the table, head in the courtyard. We get tasked with finding evidence Alice is innocent, and then have a chat with Cheshire Cat. He tells us kind of what's going on, go in evidence. Ellen really doesn't like duck or cats. That was a terrible clear. I did not get the toggle locks that I was supposed to. So definitely missed time. You're supposed to basically use one fire per target there. Now as we go into evidence selection, first box to drop, shadow. In our case, other box will contain Goofy. If you collect more of the evidence boxes, more soldiers boxes, you'll have a higher chance of getting them. Alright. Pretty good fight. All things. I definitely can still blue segment that split by a decent margin considering all the errors that occurred leading up to that point. But I'm glad to have had the fight that I did, so take it and keep it. Okay. Now, heading to the party garden, through which we will get to the healing portion of our plan. Light the lamps there, which will reveal Trickmaster. As long as we stay on the gray patterning of the ramp sections after getting onto them there, we will not spawn enemies here, which will allow us to be corrupted. A little iffy on the move, okay. But we got to the latch. Head back into base right side up version of range room to talk to the Cheshire Cat one time to Master Plate. It's a very poor, very slow fight on Trickmaster itself, but that's okay. We still have lots of other time to save in other worlds, so definitely not sweating it. Pretty sure we have over a minute to save Power Wilds by themselves. It was actually close to 40 seconds. We'll see in a minute. That is our first keyhole field. And now we're on our way to jungle. This world is a little bit more involved and a little bit more movement intensive. As I was saying, I have a pretty sizable chunk of available time saved to me. Not only like against myself, but again, best that it can be. Because of the movement, some of the fight mechanics. Quick clears on the Power Wilds fights themselves results in sometimes as much as 5 seconds of time difference. Individual fight. Sometimes proper execution a lot on those fights in particular. So as long as we get that going, pretty decent. We do have a lot of time to save for ourselves, both Halloween and Agrabah, so not sweating a whole lot right now. And having an easier early game subsequent runs is always a nice thing. Always nice to get off to it. But yeah, welcome. Starts off with a foe boss fight. After having a little bit of a squabble with Donald as to whether or not we should be landing at all. World we almost didn't go to. Okay, fight was a little sloppy, but that's okay. Saved a little bit of our time. We touch the save point and then the game, because we are going to use that save point. Warp back later. Try to hit all of these while in motion, so as to eliminate some of the Xboxing happens with the collection of. Tarzan's arm shows up in the left, you can back cut X-Map, which will lead out to party select, blackout that you move in, and 2 more pieces of dialogue for getting pain, and after that we get a small cut. After a dodge roll, but save point to warp out and warp back in. Talking about just moments ago. this to skip over the more difficult and slow move that we would normally have to do. Climb up and hit the second set of vines here. Meet up with Kerchak. A little bit of dialogue. And head back. Treehouse, where we interrupt Clayton, who is attempting to kill Turk. Back into the slide minigame. Get back to camp real quick. And head into the tent before Clayton to hold it. Use blizzards to quickly clear out these enemies, or back into the tent, do 10, or out of the world and back in. Head for that other secondary save point. Once again, we will head to this room. Where we'll end up with okay kills here. A little slow still, but okay. We want to conserve some of our NP for this next room. Where we do a little bit of clever movement. Up our little bit of shortcut menuing there, and head on to the room. A little bit more clever movement. Alright, a little sloppy there, that's okay. Still not terrible. And Goofy, thank you for clearing that last one. We got a best out of that. Thanks to your efforts, Goofy. We still have a lot more to save there, but it was not terrible. Did just chuck away a little bit of that with shenanigans. Alright. Kind of a garbage fight, that's okay. There goes barreling into the tent. We go barreling off base. So now we are headed for treetop once again, but because of world, the normal warp out route is blocked by vines. So we use yet another minigame shortcutting strategy. Up here, where we can climb up one more set of vines. And do 15 hits on the fruit to finish it, although a little bit sloppy. This is is not a cutscene, but text with a little bit. And over the side again here to get to cliffs. Base Clayton. And we leverage the cliff to get a quick knock down. And get a relatively quick kill. A little bit of shenanigans there. Goofy did put in some work on the damage front. And now it's skippable. That's another instance. Actually, auto splitter and load remover. And we do a little bit of precision movement here to work our way through the waterfall cavern. We have a split there entirely because you can lose a lot of time to bad movement. As evidenced by where my PE actually would be at. So even though I had a pretty terrible start to the run, and a middling Sabor 2 and Clayton, I think if we check against my actual, it could be a decent amount. But now we are on our way back to Wonderland. Yeah, we're 15.5 seconds up on our PB. Which means that in that one split, we save 23 seconds over what our PB, yeah, like, that's why there's a split on Waterfall Cavern, is versus my PB, I saved 23 seconds. Now, an important thing to note, we do not want to actually kill Heartless on these two, kill any of the gummy ships or shoot anything on these two particular missions, because they're the only two tracks that we repeat. And if you get a new high score on a repeated gummy mission, you will end up with reward gummy pieces, which actually clutter up the gummy menus, which we do not want. That only happens on route from Wonderland, route connecting Wonderland Jungle and Wonderland Traverse Town. So these are the only two that we don't want. Second time through. Because the first high score you get not actually rewarded. Once again, we get to AFK in this corner. On the way from Traverse Town to Wonderland, it's the right. On the way from Wonderland to Traverse Town, it is opposite the top of the left. This route itself mirrors. This next section is purely movement. So plenty of stuff to know. here. So we start out by landing in the accessory shop. English versus Japanese routes actually differ to a certain degree on this split. One other alone, really. Well, two, yeah, one other alone. But they converge at this point. Hop into the accessory shop. Head out to the first district, into the second. Follow the second. Over into the alley. Get a quick kill on those enemies. Despawn as needed, and then hit up the Trinity right here to head in waterway. Now, the reason that English and Japanese differ is because English can use a very small glitch that allows you to visit that Trinity first for the Trinity tutorial. And because Aura's positioning for the Trinity tutorial is different in Japanese, you can clip through the bars in front of the waterway and have this conversation before ever leaving Traverse Town 1, first visit. Thus you come here first, exit through study instead of the accessory shop. You end up spending more time in Traverse Town 1, but significantly less in Traverse Town 2, in part because you don't have to do the Trinity itself at that point, and because you have, pathing-wise, had to do a little bit less backtracking overall. Alright, movement's been pretty clean so far. Zones were pretty nice to me up until the end there. We'll go in the same direction. And now we're in Merlin's study. We have a little bit of chit-chat here before using the save point to warp out and warp back in at the accessory shop, where we'll collect 100 Acre Wood book from Sid, as well as some instructions and information about the bell tower and second district. Illuminate basically our ability to potentially go opposite armor, build keyhole here, but we won't actually get to that until we are actually done Ring 2 of World. We will then bring the book back to Merlin's study and talk with Fairy Godmother. Granted, Simba summon from Earthshine that Leon just gave us in the waterway. Now, on this version of the game and the PS4 and PS5 versions, loads are in a where actually end up saving a pretty decent chunk of time by warping in and warping out. Back in the PS3 and PS2 days of the game, the load times in between zones, warp outs and such were so slow and such that you would pretty much inherently lose a large chunk of time doing something like that, and so you would pretty much always go places by foot. There we sell all of our non-essential pieces of equipment so that we have that's not where So we have over 1,250 for use buying parts. That unfortunately cost us like 5 seconds of going back in and out of the world an extra time. But now we are here to collect our summon and then head out to the 3rd district again. Here we swap on the Jungle King Keyblade, swap in White Fang for EXP Necklace, and then give EXP Necklace to Goofy, because it actually doesn't matter what member of the party the EXP item is on. As long as somebody has it, everyone is getting X of the EXP, and Goofy ends up staying in the party the entire game. We swap out Donald a number of times, but we never swap out Goofy. Means we and Goofy end up benefiting from the key curves the entire time. Alright, a little bit more chit chat here, and then some shopping back in the 1st district, and we'll be on our way. We buy the Fyra gummy, as well as East gummy, and then head on out. That is basically a straight match to our best segment, but differentiated ever so slightly. Throw on our new gummy parts, and then warp over to Wonderland. Take the time savings and get them. Even a fractional best segment is still a best segment. Warp here, however, because it is marginally closer to Warp Hole, that is going to take us to Second Ring of Worlds. And from here, we now have our haste gummy, which allows us protection. And we are headed to Agrabah, first world where we have a significant available time and saving. Okay. So this world is broken into a couple of sections. There is Save Aladdin, which I don't have a split for, but some people do. There's the Pot Centipede fight. There's the Cave of Wonders, directly following Pot Centipede fight. Opening up the treasure chamber, or the key chamber. Bar fight and the most technical pieces are really Save Aladdin and Good Fall. There is a little bit of movement and save warping, but overall, a lot of it boils down. Fight exit. rescue Carpet directly out to the desert to await us. Touch the save point for it, grab the Mega Elixir out of the chest, and head on out. Meet Carpet. The heck is really my guy? Okay, well, thank you, Goofy. And that's just a thing that can happen on that fight, is a guy can just wait for forever to actually show up. So, probably a good 6 or more seconds of available time lost there, unfortunately, but that is what it is. A little bit of sloppy movement, but okay, still worked out. Ooh. What? I touched the save point. I saw the... What? I'm so confused. What? Okay, well. No point worrying about it at this point. That was a very weird bug. So, I was right in that I had touched the save point, but visually, it was not visually, but it was acting as if I had not touched the one in abandoned shack or whatever the heck it's called. Anyway, moving right along. We are going to not save as much time as we could here. Slow fight, that's okay. Had a lot of time to save there, and I did not save a whole lot of it. Unfortunately. That's not what we want to do. We end up in... the outer courtyard. Shave off as much time as possible when desert again. To go fight the Gate of Wonders. We have a single text box out part of it before dodge rolling directly to the left side of his head to get up on the main. Wait until he starts moving. 9 hits. Before heading onto his nose. Oh my god. These guys. Really? And having our time wasted by freaking Bandit. Okay. Not exactly how that's supposed to go. Do E-blade swing to ourselves onto that platform to get jump movement rather than swimming movement. And then head into this room. Break this column, which exposes the path to the keyhole chamber. some very precise movement to help us across that bit of platforming. Swap out for Donald for a bit of safety, because if he decides to use magic at the start of this fight, it can fire everything off. I'm like one hit out. Okay, 2 hits. Done. Oh, God. I could be so far ahead right now. So sad. No bemoaning what could have been. It is potential time save for a future run. Not quite the 1 cycle that we wanted, but still time save. Quick 2. Alright. And a dang near perfect Jafar fight. Junior Jafar fight, that is. You like to see that. As soon as the crackling sound disappears, we are able to skip that scene. And as soon as the loading heart disappears on that second one, we're able to skip that one. Now we want to get hit by many obstacles as possible here, because we want to get damaged enough to exit the menu if possible. This is one of the few places in the game where we get to death abuse. And we hug right to avoid a health orb. And roll left. And die on the first fire pillar of the second room. If as soon as that goes through, are greeted back in Aladdin's house by conversation bemoaning loss of success. There we go. Ugh. A couple of frames early on those skips that we attempted. And back to Agrabah. One last little bit of text, collecting our rewards, or heading off for our next world. Use the warp point as the closer target. It is on our path. And head off for what would be Halloween Town, but will be interrupted shortly before getting there for Monstro. So, a little known fact about Monstro: it is possible to miss him while normal gummy ship flighting between worlds. The first encounter with him is scripted, so he is not missable on that. However, on the subsequent passes, there is a low percentile chance that you fly right past him. Hook ship, on the other hand, without a little bit of a mod that we have on PC, is about a 66% counter rate, or 1 in 3 times will actually miss him. They're the 2 RNG related pieces of far as world travel. Somewhat unsurprisingly, because of the way Jafar went in our PD, we are actually ahead of PD still by a decent, even having lost over 13. Tiger Head, not one big link. Far. And welcome, Monstro. We are here to track down a kid. With some precise movement. Next section, you can really skip over the entire room if you execute properly. I did not. Dropped my input entirely. Basically need to Keyblade swing as you enter into that room so that it carries you back into the doorway and you can jump across to the doorway I just entered. It is particularly unimaginatively named Chamber 3 skip because it's Chamber 3. But math-wise, I think we figured it saves somewhere between 3 and 6 seconds overall, which is not a whole lot. And that's with executing it properly, quickly, and without like lag time in your action. Alright, pretty good fight. Okay movement, kind of meh, but overall we saved a little bit of time there. So take it. We get our first cheer for Goofy, I believe there. And start randomly Keyblade. Out of this just we can get our shared ability of high jump. Immediate going on. As well as very hard Keyblade. After getting flapped, head on to Parasite Cave 2. Alright. Even with a kinda meh, like, subpar start to that fight, we actually shaved off a little bit of time. In part because our menu was a little bit crisper. Movement, still kinda meh. We got bodied outside, so really we have probably 2 seconds to save there still. But overall, not bad. Another blue, and we like to see it. Next up is one of our 3 biggest available time saves in the run. And a lot of it boils down to a lot of precise movement tech section. But first, we warp back to Monstro. One, to get a better takeoff point for our next Gummy mission, so that we're not interrupted by him. And two, to get Water Golem out of a chest in Mouth, which gives us the Dumbo summon after talking to Fairy Godmother again a little bit later in the run, which we'll use to do a movement skip of some sections of Bastion. Immediately upon landing, start dodge roll. Keyblade swing is useful for some extra distance if you don't actually get exactly where you want. Jump off point. Halloween Town. This is the shortest Gummy mission, as it only a good like 20 seconds. They don't get completely wrecked by Heartless Ship. Like that. We're at our destination world. Through the game we go. Cutscene. We jump to hit a trigger point. A little bit of movement to get building. Grab this chest as a power up. Then head over to lab. Cat upstairs has decided it's time. Crazy person, as it does. And now we have Jack in our party. Use for us to heal ethers, and then buy 2. Okay. Oh. A little sloppy. Okay. There's an Dizzy. Alright, so what we just did there was we took the 2 ethers off of Jack and swapped them onto Sora. Took the power up that we just got, that onto Sora. That was a huge mess of the segment. Okay. And then the last things we did were, well, like I said, Ray of Light in White Fang for a change in available MP through this section, or use with the Lock, Shock, and Barrel fight. And then threw on the bottom 4 abilities for Sora, giving us Air Combo Plus and a couple of Hurricane Blast. Out of the MP ability. One more thing. Scan. God. Well, that wasted time. 5, 4. Right. We'll have to slop through this section, unfortunately, which means we are definitely not best segment, but we do still stand a decent chance of saving time. Was there. And we have to hope that we don't end up with black fungus here. Alright. That's on the better side of things. A little bit of slop there. Now for house climb. Or not. Alright, well, that just burned a bunch of my time, unfortunately. I may not be safe. Dropped. Oh my god. Okay. Well, bad, but it happens. Alright, well, unfortunate, but okay. Well, still got a bunch of time to save there. That's not skippable. That is skippable. I think I got all my hits. Damn it. Well, no dice skip. Okay, saved a little bit of time, still not great. Sad, because that could have been Dice Reflect. Such is life. 2 sections, pretty easy time save available to me. Alright, little wonky. And a slow fade. But it is. There are 2 scene skips. Our magic. Another scene skip. Bogwa. And then some tech smash. Overall, coming out green against our derust run. And potentially looking 05. Not counting any chickens. Or our eggs have hatched though, as we still have a lot of our less practiced portion of run coming up. We are 14 ahead of E, thanks in large part to Parasite Cage 2, Jafar, but we lost pretty decent. I'm surprised it is that little on LSD, considering I fell the frick off. Or he had to have fallen off or had a really bad fight there or something. Regardless, we are on our way to Neverland with a chunk of pretty good potential time save of us. Hook and Anti-Sora are 2 most grieving fights. I've had good ones in the past. Best segments on them are pretty solid. Overall, could definitely use some love. As indicated by the text at the top of my ship mod on. It is nice quality of life things that we have available to us on PC. It guarantees that that 66% chance goes to we saw Sora's Cursed Face. Get our party selection out. Then here. Head around the ship. Blade Swing gives us that little bit of extra height that we do the next load zone. And then skip a couple more cutscenes. Trinity. And then hit up the customization to set stop on Aura. Help us in our fight. And on up the ladder. It is fight time. That's not what I want. Oh my god. Yeah. Not what we want to have. Come on, guy. Really? And slow fade. Nope. Alright. Okay menu. We saved one of our 21 seconds. Time save is time save. It was a very sloppy fight in general, so still take it. A lot of time save still to be had there. I don't know what I'm doing. This is the doorway for next. And now we swap out again. Skip over a little dialogue here. And immediately summon Simba. We use him to clear the couple of waves that spawn in for fighting Hook, aside from the one ship that's in the final wave that we have to combo down. Three ticks clears the first wave. Full charge of 4 ticks clears the second. And third, aside from the aforementioned ship. So the air comboing to get that down, and we are into the Hook fight. Alright, sloppy as hell fight. It is what it is. Huh. Alright, listening for fade out sound. Okay. Alright, so definitely some major slop in there, but we'll keep on chugging with what we got. And all that. Nope. We clear the clock tower first. That puts lets us in cutscenes and item collection. We swap worlds over to Hollow Bastion to follow Riku back there. How could I have lost? And then Peter and Wendy say goodbye to each other and collect our rewards for the world. Glide our way back to this corner where we pick up the flare dummy, our last engine for the run. Put on Fairy Harp, as well as Mars, Guard, and Glide. Mars and Guard being bottom 2 for Sora, and Glide being paired triangle with potential. You can have a maximum of 2 engines equipped, but the most powerful one is the effective one. So we swap out our fire for the flare G that we just picked up, and then head back to Traverse Town in 3. Start out in the study to redeem our Water Gem from back in Monstro for the running, before heading back to the accessory shop after, trying to murder Godmother, from which we will be headed to the top of the Gizmo shop to start the fight with opposite armor. That's not what I want. That's also not. Okay, well, we've spawned in a lot of enemies here. Very slow clear on those, unfortunately. And we forgot to do the fire again. God, I really need to remind myself to do it. So what you're supposed to do in that section is actually cast a fire before casting R's, because of the way the yellow fill bar mechanic works in this game. It will end up eating less of my total MP. When I go to do the R's, because it'll basically burn a single cell, and then after that single cell is burned, it'll leave me with mostly full yellow bar. And the R's will actually eat up the yellow bar instead of Alright, full slow clear because I missed the last hit I needed on the hand there. Rather than use full bars. Time loss on that, which is unfortunate. This puts us 47 behind our PB, but still ahead against our derust run, which is an okay spot to be. We come back out here, talk to Sid, get our next gummy installed, and then start heading for Hollow Bastion 1. after a couple of all right. The shot. Yeah. Warp back to Neverland. Then head off for one. Now with the lovely flare gummy equipped, our base gummy speed is increased. I held off on boosting there because we were going through load zone. It's one of the very few spots where we actually hold off on that. Passing through load zones, boosting will not actually increase the speed of the load zone or any pieces. Only speeds up these sections loaded. And with that, welcome to Hollow Bastion, where we get to find out from Donald the Duck that Sora's actually just hungry. Which frankly is fair. We haven't seen the dude eat. Presumably they've been out for a couple of days at this point. And now Donald and Goofy abandon us. Riku. He has the Keyblade. But Beast will come with, it's fine. Alright, pretty clean on my move there. And got to correct magic. So we toggled our magic menu because it'll stay selected for the time being. Re-hover our gravity magic, which we're going to momentarily to get the defender that shows up in front of the switch out here. Or the final switch, that is. To a health point where Beast can plunge and kill him for us. It is the one enemy we kill while equipped with the sword. There's some irony in the wooden sword exchanges between Terra and Ven and Sora and Riku. Like, Riku gives the wooden sword to Sora out of like pity and disdain, where Terra gives Ven the wooden sword out of kind of kinship. Alright, A little sloppy, that's okay. I've been screwing that little interaction up because I keep wanting to try and do the gravity with the jump when it's triangle with the jump, and the triangle is what triggers beast, or like does the force trigger on beast doing his range attack. But luckily that time I earned a little bit by doing preemptive jump. Beast did his anyway. Now that's out of the way though. Head back up to the palace gate. After coming out here, spawning a couple of it. Luckily there's a handy little corner back here. Tosses it on. Interact with the switch and head for the gates locked with that switch. Why the locking mechanism for the door is way the hell down there. Way like that. And Dalton and Goofy join us and we reclaim the key. Alright, pretty decent fight. We whiffed some hits in there, otherwise that probably would have been the best segment, but we take it. And after our party selections, we head off to the library. Able to pick up a book for a second or two there, and then get underway for Maleficent. Little bits of stuttery movement in here. Okay, it's not the best, but not the end of the world. Oh, come on. Yeah, that was terrible. Like 2 or 3 seconds. That. Love it. Battery on the jumps as well. Supposed to be jumping as they hit the ground again. It's not working the way I want it to. Okay. Losing little bits of time on basically each one. Little bits of action. That was an okay slide, but we followed it a little too long. I'm very used to that not going nearly far before being interrupted. But we have all 4 pieces, and now we get head onward the actual fight itself. After, of course, our cutscene. despawn, name paste to chest. Our last gummy of, or I should say the last gummy actively out of game. And then head for our lovely friend Elevate. Now Donald and Goofy, you behave now. You kill this wizard. Please, and they're looking at you. Donald, you're a little nobody. Thank you, Goofy. That was straight up disaster. All right. Dodge roll was super unnecessary. And now it's time for our first Dumbo skip of the game. Selected it below on the elevator. And we screw. Means we are losing time. Alright, well, we're not going to be able to save that either for fight later, unfortunately. Okay. Well. Keep triggering it as if I am there. This is damn shame. Damn shame. It should be done with the fight already. I was in too much of a rush. Just the game check. Have to do at least that much. Donald, I hate you. And of course Donald used gravity anyway. God, that was a really garbage fight. I have over a minute and change to save there. Probably have about a minute and a half to save there. All reality. Cheer. Just. But it is what it is. And we died. Okay. Was I one combo, assuming? Or like one stop combo off? I don't know. This is unfortunate. It is what it is. Be practicing on how to do these strats properly. Okay. God. Alright, well, that's now like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes behind TV pace. 2 minutes 40. It is what it is. Off to do Riku 2. Okay. That's not what I want. Not quite what we wanted, but better air combos than we've pretty much ever done before. Excuse me? Oh, I don't have Leaf Bracer on yet. That was actually shaping up to be one of the best fights I've ever had, but okay. Why we do appeals when... Again, this is all stuff that I need to be practicing. Not really worth resetting for this. Double DM. Alright, well, getting better at the air combos on him. Worth a little bit of practice. don't think it's really feasibly possible for me to get an actual, or like not an actual PB, Rust PB, but I think it's technically possible. I mean, this split and the next one. Because on this split I have something like 70-80 seconds to save between 26 you spare and another like 50 against violin's best segment. And a lot of it really just boils down to movement, including that we're doing. Constantly on the move. Getting skips when we can, etc. Get bonkless. No, we cannot, is that? Not want to tell you what happened. I will go talk to Sid and find out about a helpful little gummy. I'm interested in trying out a slightly different pathing here. So you have two real options here. One is to do what I'm doing here, and the other is to go through Alley again. This one takes a little bit more accuracy and not screwing up the menu, but gets you a little bit more directly to this oak. You can kind of glitch out the positioning of Sora there by spacing and timing a dodge roll or Keyblade swing. Hit the trigger point for that cutscene. If you do it with Keyblade swing, quick move yourself around. Alright, land back here again, accessory shop, and then go talk to Sid to get the no vision quests this time, just a quick pop away and pop back for the installation. I'll chit chat with Chip and Dale here. And then do our final calling the 2 gummy. And off through the warp we go. This gummy mission is a little bit special in comparison to the rest of the front, as it a little bit of game shenanigans way out of the mission before actually completing. Because all we really need to do is reconnect the gummy pathway. So after this next section, as we load in the next, we'll be able to exit out and then warp the elevator rather than completing the ammunition itself, which is actually slow. So we wait for this load. Load is complete. We're reconnected and can warp. Welcome back to Hollow Bastion for our second visit. Beast has kindly decided to join. And this time we will actually take him up on the altar. Glide on over this way. Grab the Mega Elixir chest. Reset Dumbo and head in this first area of the castle proper. We hop up onto this ledge, in Dumbo before we are registered out of range for combat. I was very worried about dodge rolling there. Didn't. Could go out of frame. Second. Trigger the elevator. Now on this elevator run, east. And then or that. Uses this bottom four. Paste tracer. Or that we are. Yep. So something I'm curious about is because we have routed out that Trinity, don't need Donald in the party during on this library. As far as I recall from watching runs, though, we do leave in. I'm curious if that is intentional for a particular reason, acting through fights, or if that's just a side effect of old pathing. We do a little jump there because otherwise that load zone does not trigger properly. Walk to it. Rude. And then into the fight itself. Alright. Not the best fight I've ever had there, but alright. Saved a little bit of my time. Not as much as not nearly as much as I can, but it's still something. Alright, and after this bit of tech shenanigans, we go into an unskippable cutscene.
あんたのことは忘れたくても忘れられないよね。どういう意味だよ。知らない。早く噛み穴を閉めて。そら、頼む。
Alright. 3 seconds of loss to our PB on that behemoth. Honestly, kind of understandable. Acceptable. Going up against the best segment here. Still have a bunch of potential saves, so not too worried about it. Swap out Ray of Light for Arts, then head on to the next gummy mission. Final mission, the world. This is another instant, not boost, have it, but one section is loaded. Just to avoid unnecessary boost out time like that. To avoid missing out on a boost. Whew. I got real credit in there. That was minorly terrifying. This world does not start with cutscene, just and transitions. Force fights. A little unfortunate. And one force fight before getting to our next boss, and the cat is still going crazy. Yep. And yep. Open up that red chest a little ahead of us. cottage we're going to immediately use. And take out a legal or use a little bit later. Alright, well, that was a little awkward. But that was not an amazing. I don't really know what that was. It was a 12.5 second best segment. That's what that was. I guess it was a C drop, probably? Alright, summon Simba. And wipe the floor with some guys. Oh, yeah. But oh my god. Not going to the purple port. Graves Light in place. Raven's Claw. Yep. Oi. Into the Underdated Wood portal. Grab the chest. Touch the save. Out we go. To the Hollow Bastion portal. That was messy as hell, but we take it. DMs. And into the Turnbog fight we go. pretty decent, but still not great. And super glide. And down we flip. Okay, this he misses garbage. And we are properly positioned at least. Definitely not saving here. Losing probably 10. That fight was garbage. Okay, well, definitely losing a lot more than that now. Well, since I've had a death there. Alright, well, it is what it is. We're missing about a minute. This is a really dangerous spot to be in. We'll see if it works. About 4 minutes behind PD. So we're going to be about minute 40 behind? Minute 50? Other than, you know. Like. There we go. Knew there was a second thing I was supposed to. Definitely not saving time here, that's for sure. Alright, well that was actually a very well-paced fight, aside from the shenanigans and the very open thing. Do the thing. Thank you. Oh. And got all of those. Alright, well that was a little awkward. That's okay. Not as good as it could be, but it is. God damn it. I got the first DM skip, but not the second one. I'd been having a pretty good fight up till then. Alright, well, be better, could be worse. Single DM, no death. We... God damn it. Did that late, oh well. Greeted for extra damage. I think that's pretty much exactly what happened on that on the PB. That was super early, which means this is going to be glitchy as hell. Alright, well, that was a mess, but considering I was doing that blind, I will take it. I went way the hell too early. And up we go. Alright. There we go. If you don't do it. Alright. That was a pretty good invisible core. I'm kind of surprised that was not better on timing. I guess the last one that I had, like... little combo. Alright, got a blue on engine. Off we go. Damn. Oh god. 2 blues there. Down to a 156 third. Okay. Well, it's 4 a.m. and I need a lot of practice on the end game. That's the thing. Against my PB, I was almost 30 seconds up with having lost a ton of time. Got a new Power Wilds best, new TT2 best. Those are nice to have. PC2, that one was very cool. Got a new Arc Behemoth best, which is fucking great. Love to see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 best segments. So that's all good. We need to do some damage control on a bunch of different splits, but overall, another good split. Another like decent run. 208. Not amazing. Still a minute ahead of my balance. My balance down a fair bit. So that almost 12 minutes to save. Against my summer best though. All in all, not the worst. We'll pick up tomorrow with some more runs. Yeah. Thanks for everybody that stopped by. Everybody has a good rest of their night.